Welcome, Pat. Happy Thursday.
Same to you, Rick, and our millions of viewers out there. Obviously, you
This
like
is
you like
Bo-
my new. We got their new price mortgage loan hats in.
wow.
It's original design, isn't it?
It's very original. I would stay out of bars with that one. No. Well, welcome, everybody. It's a balmy 112 degrees today. Certainly a lot nicer than yesterday when it got up to 118. That was unbearable. Good day to be inside. So I got to tell you something. We're going to talk about what home buyers are looking for. I did some research on their search activity and what's most important to them, and then we're going to go through our usual numbers here. But I got to tell you what happened to me yesterday. I went to get my truck washed, and so I pulled into the car wash, and in front of me is like a newer Tesla truck, and those things are ugly.
Oh, they are just. Oh, I don't know anybody spends money on that. It's amazing.
Yeah. So in front of me, so he drives onto it's one of those car washes where it pulls you through on the track, right? And
Yep.
I'm behind him about 8-10 feet, respectively, behind there, and I'm kind of at a little bit of an angle because I'm turning and he's in there, and you got the lady with the arrow and the flag telling you turn left, turn right, and I'm just sitting back there casually watching. All of a sudden, it just lurches out like a missile in reverse, just, and I had no time to react. I put the truck in reverse, like, why even bother? And just bam, hits my truck.
What?
Oh God. I get out and then they pulled forward. I get out and I look, I've just got minimal damage to my chrome bumper. It just kind of separated a little bit. I was expecting to see the whole front of their truck mangled, God,
Holy mackerel!
well, that's again. I thought, how the hell? I mean, just what did he get up there and get mad? The car wash decided to pull out. Well, then I see the door open, and it's a car wash employee that was inside the truck. Because here in Arizona, and a lot of different car washes, if you get the full service wash, they take over your vehicle. So they see it through the car wash, and then they drive it to the detail place, which is just a couple rows over when you get up. So the guy comes up to me and he goes, yeah, let's go ahead and go through there and I'll talk to you on the other side. So I get my truck washed and I'm waiting for him. And I said, your employee can't be feeling too good. What happened? I imagine going in and telling this Tesla owner what happened. His bumper went kind of kadink,
Oh, really?
crease in it. I mean, it looked like it just couldn't be more than a couple months old. And he said, well, he was trying to get it to disengage because you need to go through there in neutral. And he goes, and it's all controlled with a computer panel. So he's trying to push the neutral button and he didn't have his foot on the brake and he hit reverse. And the thing just went, hit me. I'm literally going through the car wash like, what just happened?
Oh my God!
Oh,
That kind of. I mean, I know
funny.
this is not a car wash episode, but that kind of happened to me about a year ago. I was going through just the hand, ones that you just run through and yourself, and it's um, the lady, was it behind me or she kept, yeah, kind of same thing. Mine kept going forward. I'm like, finally, I put on the brakes and they stopped it. It was like, it kept pushing my car ahead. I'm like, what the heck? So anyway,
Yeah, that's not supposed to happen, but
I'm sure people aren't here to hear our car wash horror stories.
yeah,
But
I can post a picture of the truck later. But hey, look at this. Most viewed home features and buyer preferences, outdoor living spaces, smart home technology, family friendly layouts, and garage space. It goes on to say that this preference, well, talking about preferences, a strong reluctance to take on significant renovation projects. This preference reflects both the desire for immediate occupancy and concerns about construction costs and contractor availability. See that a lot. Energy efficiency has gained remarkable prominence as buyers searches because they don't want those scorching AC bills. But then it goes down here and says, here's the square footage size and preferences. First time home buyers are about 1,450. These are based on searches. Move up buyers, 2,100. Luxury buyers, 3,200. and then downsizers want to get down to 1650. But here's the key buyer decision factors. Number one, price. No kidding. Knock me down with a feather. Number two, location. Number three, property condition. That's important. Home features, economic factors. It goes on to say, it gives a little market report here, but one of the things that I read and I noticed was that they search for swimming pools a lot. And then one of the other desired features are remodeled kitchens and remodeled bedrooms. And then outside of that, it's outdoor living area. So if you a lot of real estate agents go in for a listing appointment and they go, well, here's what I can do. How are you going to market the property? Well, I'm going to put a video out there, and I'm going to put it on Facebook, and I'm going to put it on TikTok and Instagram, and I'm going to push it out everywhere. Well, how many people buy a house because they saw it on Facebook, Pat? I mean, they that's for the agent. The agent showing what they do. But when you put it on Facebook, it scrolls down after a while, it's gone.
Yeah. I mean, I don't see. I mean, you probably see it pops up and then it's gone.
Yeah. I mean, I'll some agents disagree with me on that, but I think, now YouTube's a different animal. You can take your video of the house and you can put it on YouTube, and you can provide that link inside the MLS and have a video tour of the house. So it does have some evergreen content where it'll grow and people have an opportunity to see it. The surprising thing is those Matterport tours of a house where you put the 360 camera in. I kind of like it. I like to be able to kind of tour around the house and look for things. Turns out statistically, that's not a very clicked link. It's not very popular. People like to just scroll through, look at the photos. They either like it or they don't, and they move on. Well, the marketing is probably not as important as making sure that you and the seller know what's being searched in your neighborhood. What are people looking for in your neighborhood? And you can get all that data now. You can go in. There's a lot of different AI sites where you can go in and say, what are they looking for in this community? What are buyers searching for? What has the biggest impact on a sale in this community? Is it the schools? Is it the proximity to the freeway? So you can go in armed with all that information so that you can tell the seller, here's the key drivers for moving your home. That's more powerful than look at my video on TikTok. So I think you're providing a lot more detail, a lot more analysis. And so it's, something to consider when you're interviewing those realtors. Ask them more than just, how are you marketing the property? Get really drilling, like, what do I need to do? What's pushing everybody's button in, North Central Phoenix right now? And you'll find that it's probably kitchens, pools, and outdoor living spaces. But our listings, guess what happened? Where did I say we were going to be this week? Right at that line?
I think you said we're going to be right at that line. We're right where exactly where you said it was going to be.
And I'm not Nostradamus.
I was just going to say, you're Nostradamus. You just literally took the words out of my mouth about 2.2 seconds.
I end up being a week ahead of time just because of this chart here. So I'm able to look at it and see. I saw that the back on, the active listings had dropped off the face of the earth, and so did contracts because of the 4th of July. Now you can see that they both shot up, but new listings have come up, but new contracts have dipped. And so that tells me that next week, this number will probably be a little flatline from here and may start to gradually tick up a little bit. Speaking of TikTok, get this. Mark here says, I lost a client to a TikTok agent with a BBL. Yeah,
what's a BBL?
That's what's that? Tell me what that is, Mark. I'm going to try and guess. Buyer, broker. I'll let him tell us.
Okay. He's listening in.
I've seen that there's some funny agents out there with some great Instagram stuff. And when I look at it, I go, wow, she was funny. I don't know anything about the house. But so when I look at the listings now, I think something's just screaming at us, Pat. It's not going to go this way.
No.
It's going to stay here. Oh, body reconstruction. Yeah, Mark, I can't compete with that either.
Ah,
Oh,
he's being politically correct.
yeah, you don't have to on this show. Here's where we're at with the Cromford Market Index. Now, keep in mind, the 4th of July just kind of pulled some of these things down. You can see slightly that the market index overall kind of went up just a little bit, but that's because inventory just took a deep, deep dive. And the census is a measurement of supply and demand. That was to be expected. It kind of came up a little bit. And, but Pat, you had some information on what buyers were looking for as well, right?
I did.
Or did I dream that?
I think you dreamt that.
Okay. Okay. Well, well, we can come back to that. So that's okay. Yeah. I drift off from time to time. It's acceptable.
Yeah,
Check this out.
I think it's 119-degree heat that maybe cook. Yeah,
it got to me.
I'm sorry.
Look at the dip in listing prices, average list price per square foot. So
Yeah.
it's I don't want to come out and say that it's a great buyer's market, but there's a couple cities there. If you have an interest in, I'd get out there and start scratching and sniffing, because it's I'm going to show you some numbers there. But here's active listings. Of course, they've gone down. This is like a bunch of gauges. Expired listings, you know, they've had quite the run. They're called fee listings. They're just, the seller said, I'm out. I tried. And then you've got days on market have climbed, but they're not, you know, through the roof. But I think more importantly is the asking prices are still on a steady line going down. And then here's the list price per square foot on active listings. So see that line I drew there? That's just kind of a trend line, right? If we were to have held on to the natural uptick that we were seeing before we got into the silly season here, right, we'd be right about here. So you got to ask yourself, do we think this is going to come down to the red line as far as the list price per square foot? I think it's getting closer every day.
Yeah.
Now, that doesn't say that's the sales price, but the list price per square foot is really under pressure, and we could get down to that, providing that interest rates kind of stay where they're at. And that's a guessing game, and that's your wheelhouse, not mine. Percent of closings with seller paid concessions are up to 57% now. And so it's, I think if you're looking at some of the markets here, let me show you this. Look at Maricopa, the CMI, or the Cromford Market Index is 51, Buckeyes 49. Average is, a bounce market's 100, 49. And so there are bargains to be found down there in resale units. And those are the two areas that are having the most competition with builders.
Yeah.
Because builders are offering 4.9 financing. The advantage you have is builders are not giving you a pool package. But you can go find a resale that's already got a pool. If that's the number one searched item, that's what I would recommend doing. And the sellers down there, they're not really kicking tires in those two markets. They're selling because they have to. And I think bargains are there to be found. So tell me what's going on with rates, my friend.
Okay, well, just to intersect here with rates, I mean, it's been a rather quiet week and a half. Obviously, the 4th of July, there wasn't much going on last week. I mean, the job market came out, it was strong, but obviously, once again, I think there's a lot of people out there that were still questioning those numbers. And, you know, it's been pretty benign. I mean, it's, you look at, this is today, the 5.5% coupon was down 14 basis points. I mean, there's some Fed speakers that came out. The auction was fairly strong. You know, that had something to do with it. But you know, I take a look at this this 10-year Treasury chart over the last year. Let's see if I can pull it up. Look at just the last 5 years. You know, well, this is going back the last 5 years, obviously, but you know, really this. Once again, I keep harping about this channel that we've been just kind of stuck in here. And if you pull it down to the 1 year, you can see how we hit the high back January in the last year. at like 4.77. But you see how we just have these just a gradual decline in the tops, the high tops on the rate. Kind of noticing that a little bit, but it's been pretty much same old, same old. And what's really funny is, dips. I saw here. I'm going to pull up a couple articles here. Like this is last week, or was it? Yeah, I think it was a day ago. It says home buyers finally responded after mortgage rates hit lowest level in 3 months. It's
maybe in the Midwest.
Yeah, it's just kind of, but it just goes to show you how they said the average contract interest rate decreased to 6.77 from 6.79.
Oh, get me in the car. Get me in the car.
I know. It's an application
down 0.2.
Yeah, let's go. We got that. We can finally afford that house. That's what kind of kills me. You see these articles, and it's like applications to refinance a home loan rose 9% for the week and were 56% higher than the same week 1 year ago. It says to applications for a mortgage to purchase a home also rose 9%. Now, I don't know. I don't know how you can attribute that surge in purchase applications from rates going from 6.79 to 6.77. It just kind of boggles my mind.
But that's a national one. But seasonally, the summertime's really good for a lot of markets, not us, but.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's certainly a seasonal thing. It says a brief drop in interest rates caused a strong bump in otherwise tepid mortgage demand. Just reading these articles, seeing it the last year or two, certainly we've talked about this, certainly if rates did dip off here, I believe, my prediction has been that September, October, we're going to be past the tariff. Next week is going to be a big CPI number because we've got the June CPI coming out. So, there's been talk. There's this article right here. If I can pull it up. Come on. It says a key piece of next consumer price report, CPI report risk upsetting the bond market. So we certainly could see talks about how, this inflation report, how the tariffs are going to kind of impact it. So we might see some action in the bond market next week, with the CPI coming out, because finally, we're going to see what maybe some of this tariff is going to do, some of the tariff actions.
Well, I saw a survey this morning that 93% of traders feel that there's going to be no rate change at the July meeting.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean the bond market won't react to the CPI data, though.
Yeah, I think that, well, it definitely will. I believe it will react to the CPI. Once again, it just being in the financial markets I was, like I said, a stockbroker for 10 years, been doing this for 25 years. The more things, the more I've been feeling this, and more of this, just more of a gut feeling from my standpoint, reading and looking at the charts and reading articles, that the more things stay the same, that it's kind of building up this little bit of a demand behind the curtain. If rates do dip down, they're saying you're starting to see Federal Reserve guy Goolsbee say, there's a couple other Federal Reserve guys that said the tariffs might not have the same impact that they thought, that strong of impact. That with the Federal Reserve kind of doing their thing, I just think the Federal Reserve doing whatever they do, they're going to do it. I don't think a change in a quarter point is going to make a big difference, but it probably psychologically will make a big difference. That's the thing. So I think there will be some movement. It's been, like I said, it's been very quiet the last year. And it just feels like something's going to pop out of the can here a little bit more in the next couple of months, if that makes any sense. I don't know if people agree with me or not. They can chime in and say yes or no, but
well, I've been standing on the soapbox saying it's going to be a very slow summer because there's no catalyst. There's no catalyst. There's no rates aren't going down. Home prices have not adjusted enough. There's no reason, but at the same time, I know agents that are very busy, and I've heard of buyers picking up some real surprises out there. So but you gotta be diligent. You gotta have some thick skin too. And if you're a seller, you have to understand you're just going to get buyers that are going to hit you with an offer that's going to make your stomach turn. and you got to play it. You got to work it because everybody's trying for the absolute bargain. I've never seen this much of a disconnect between what buyers think the market is and what sellers think the market is.
Yeah.
It's never been in my little world this much of a disparity.
No, I agree. I mean, I've been in the market for 25 years, and I haven't seen this much disconnect or this like you said, the price elasticity of demand with interest rates and demand for homes. Like if they do go down, that you're going to see people. I just never seen that 25 years where rates come down. Like all of a sudden we got to just jump out and you do see people getting excited about it. So like I said, my theory is that we're going to be past what the tariffs will bring. We're going to be kind of in that picture, and then the Federal Reserve we're going to get more clarity there. And the CPI and the PPI and all these, the inflation numbers have been fairly benign the last couple months. And like you talked, I heard you on your morning show talking about how these numbers haven't pushed the market at all. But I think we're around the corner, or just around the corner, we might start to see these CPI and these numbers kind of push in the market some way, shape, or form. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and it's the news headlines that always baffle me, like the one on Fannie Mae we talked about last week that said that delinquencies took a big drop. And said they were at 0.47 and now they're 0.46. They mess around with percentages. They do the same thing with our inventory in Phoenix. Yeah. Inventory is up 57%. Well, you're leaving out the part that it was down by 300%. So coming up 57 means nothing to me. Absolutely nothing. It's the relationship between how many homes for sale, how many people are buying them, the gap. That's why I look at 7-day moving average. That's why sales prices have not plummeted. They've gone down. Yeah. But they're not down where some people have their expectations. But the contributions are up. The negotiating power is there, and it varies. It varies by market. I've got a market report that if you put in, there's a link down below. This is what it looks like. Comprehensive real estate report for your zip code. And it'll tell you everything going on in your zip code. And it'll show you what the ups and downs are, the neighborhood community updates, contact information, summary, and recommendations. So just use that link and that will show up. I send them out. It doesn't come out automatically. I got to generate it and send it out to you. But the newsletter will come out. It's on Monday mornings. You'll get this here, which is the Cromford Market Report, the CMI, and then you'll see their commentary. And then we have a couple mortgage tidbits. Pat gives a mortgage tidbit, and then I include a more detailed mortgage analysis too below that. And then the most coveted part in the bottom is my opinion. People just wait for that. So, because it doesn't mean diddly or squat. So, but it's fun to read. So.
Hey, I had to laugh. The article, this one article here, Trump influencing.
Put that up. Oh, okay.
Well, yeah, Fed influencing, Trump influencing Fed decisions, interest rates, potential mistake. I had to kind of laugh when, just as you and I, for a good chuckle. Let me see if I can find it. While Trump's pressure on Powell in recent weeks has included a delivery of a handwritten note demanding lower rates.
People that probably don't know the backstory to that, but what Pat wrote a handwritten note that we pretended that we sent to Jerome Powell. The next week he lowered rates. It was Dear Jerry.
This is the one. This is right here. Remember?
Yeah. Okay.
It says, Dear Mr. Powell, can you please stop raising rates? It's hurting the real estate business in Arizona. Thank you, Rick and Pat.
Yeah, and the next week he lowered rates. So maybe
next week he lowered rates.
Yeah, so maybe Trump.
I had to laugh when I saw that.
Handwritten note.
He must have he probably been watching our show.
Well, you never know who's watching. Huh? You never know who's watching. Oh, that's funny. Does anybody have any questions out there today? I see we got a few million kind of lingering in the sidelines here. And this is a good day to be inside. I'll tell you that. So
yeah, I'm sure nobody's outside golfing right now, but it's just terrible.
I used to live in Ocotillo. When I first moved there, I couldn't believe that they said golf in the summer was free. after 3 o'clock if you walked. Well, no wonder it's free.
Yeah.
After
No kidding.
3, if you walked,
No
you get through
kidding.
the first 2 holes, you're done. So,
Yep.
and people would do it. They would do it. So the CPI, when does that come out next week? That Wednesday?
It comes out Tuesday. Then Tuesday we get the CPI. Wednesday we got this the core PP producer price month to month. And then Thursday we got a few other Federal Reserve guys talking a little bit. They're gonna. I think there's one guy talking on Tuesday. And then Thursday we've got retail sales. So next week is going to be kind of probably an interesting, way, obviously on the markets to see what happens there with the CPI, because I really think, like I said, if you look at the CPI and the PPI, that it has been very, very quiet the last couple months, and it just, when something's this quiet, it kind of just makes me wonder what's behind the corner. I don't know if you believe that or not, but it just feels like something is going to maybe move this market a little bit. And as I profess, I think September, October is going to be kind of an interesting term. So
Jorge wants to know if that's a Paps blue ribbon cap you got on there.
Yeah, well, we kind of took we took that and made price mortgage loans. So yeah, maybe we'll do a contest one of these weeks to give away a hat. We got them in red too.
Did you request a zip code report last week? Because I did get one from Jorge. I didn't know if that was you or not. So,
but
send it out. Let me know what you think.
Yeah, we got the property profiles too.
Yeah, the property profiles are pretty good. You got to caution yourself a little bit because it gives you a zone. It says your house falls into this zone here.
Yeah,
most people like to pick the highest number. In today's market, that's a deal killer. You can't do that. It'll give you a range. Your house is worth from here to here. The 400 to 700,000 range is where it's most competitive right now. Anything above $1.5 million, $2 million is doing quite well. But the 400 to 7, there's a lot of negotiating going on out there right now, and I mean a lot. And even one of our viewers did really well on a new build, and he moved in. He closed day before yesterday, and he looked at the same model that he bought, and they jacked the prices way up after he bought. And,
really?
But he got all kinds of concessions from them, a decent rate buy down, a lot of goodies, and he got the price lowered considerably. So I think he just got in there in this small window, and Jackie and Ruby were negotiating that one. They got it done. So, but there are, and I'm not trying to laugh off affordability. It's still a problem.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it.
I don't see an end game with that yet. I still don't see a crash. I just don't. I don't see it in the numbers. Is it mathematically possible that it could? It always is. It's always out there. I just don't see anything that's telling me that goes, oh no, look out, here it comes. So I think the listing count that we have, everything in like pending sales is following exactly last year, 2024. I mean, that when you look at the charts, it's just, the same as last year. It's not varying much. When I look at the months of supply, it's not an alarming number either. It's been hanging in here at 3.7 months. We were up here in January of 5.0, but we always have a higher month supply at the beginning of the year. Because it's that's when all the optimism comes in. Now, what I'm curious of, and all of these expireds and cancels that we've had, they all roll in at the first of the month. I'm going to show you in a chart here what I'm talking about and then ask my question. Here's the year-to-date number of expireds, 4,333. Are they coming back, and when? So those are the people that tried. So that tells me that if the sales numbers start to go their way, that they're going to start coming back into the market, but they're going to lag.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, they listed their house for a reason.
Yeah, and canceled listings are the same way. They're much higher than last year. So the expireds and canceleds are almost 5,000 homes. They're just going to be sitting on the bench for a while, watching and saying, okay, what do you want to do? Now, some of them have already come back on market with probably a new agent. And in January, they changed that if you've listed your home and you want to take it off the market so you can relist it and have it show up as a new listing, it has to be past 45 days. It used to be 90 days. They changed it to 45. So speaking of new things, you mentioned something this morning about a new alternative to the FICO score.
Yeah, there's they're talking obviously Pulte, the FHFA is obviously Vantage 4.0. There's been talk. I guess they're going to start maybe looking at implementing this. They take into consideration rent, for a first-time home buyer, their rent history, and sometimes these first-time home buyers don't have a lot of depth and credit, so it's probably going to start taking into consideration rent. Now, it's going to take some time. I mean, the thing of it is, like anything that they propose, people expect it to be happening the next week or 2 weeks. It's probably going to be months or several months out, if they do it. It's supposedly – the problem is with FICO system, it's been such a monopoly. The Experian, Equifax, TransUnion, they've had basically a monopoly. And matter of fact, the FICO stock I noticed was getting crushed from like it was like $2,300 a share. It's down to like $1,500 just recently, last time I saw it. But they've had such a monopoly on the market. And the problem is these freaking credit reports, excuse my French, but they've gone up. I mean, heck, a tri-merge years ago was $20-$25. Now it's like 100, it's around 100, 110, 115, 120 for a credit report pull. So
115 to 120.
Yeah. So, I mean, for somebody just to check with a lender, and it's tough for like me to just have somebody call randomly, hey, you can pull my credit. Well, if I did that 30 times, that's over $3,000-$4,000 in credit pulls. So, it gets pretty expensive right away. But this Vantage 4.0 is going to hopefully bring some competition in. It's going to take some time to obviously get it implemented with the lenders. They would have to do all this. So it's not probably right. It's not just right around the corner, but they're talking about it because I think it would help. So we'll see.
Well, I know a lot of the big apartment complexes, they will sign you up so that your rent can be reported to the credit bureaus. But if you're renting from Joe, but if you're renting from Joe Schmo, it's not going to show up at all.
Well, I think they can if they, I think they can sign up too. It's, if they get paid, if they have like a third party that they pay through, kind of like a escrow type of process. But there's probably, I think, ways of doing that. It's certainly, if you got good rent history, it certainly helps. So
check this out. Open Door stock is now 88 cents.
Wow.
We got down to they were down to like 59.
Yeah.
For a while there. And if they don't get above $1, they're going to be delisted, but that could take some time. But I don't know what it is that made it go up. I've been watching that, wondering if somebody's going to come in and buy them. They have, what is it? $2.1 billion worth of inventory on their books, the houses that they have, but they're not moving a whole lot of product. In fact, I'm going to, and I bring that up because they were really the ones that drove the drop in listing prices when rates first went up. They had a real impact in our market. And let's see, I know I have a list here of, here it is, iBuyer statistics. Here's Open Door purchases. So you can see they're down to like 38. And then Open Door sales is 85. So they're not really knocking them out of the park. James here is advising people anybody buys a home now is a fool. We could probably have a lot of people willing to debate you on that one, but everybody's entitled to their outlook on the market. Who knows? I mean, if you could have, Look, our national debt is out of control, and you're looking at it and going, well, there could be some moves that could really have a substantial impact on getting that lowered, or you could be in a situation where they finally just go, well, let's just inflate the heck out of it and pay off today's debt with tomorrow's dollars. And guess what goes up when you do that?
Yeah.
Gold, stocks, commodities, real estate.
Yeah.
And it eventually implodes. But
I saw this podcast where this other realtor had this great, podcast, this Rod guy, he had a podcast. He was interviewing this one young nurse that bought her first home. And she said, I'm buying a house. Her only advice is buy a house when you think you can afford, when you have to, or can afford it, or fits your lifestyle. Doesn't fit for everybody, but if you got 4 kids, 3 kids, and you're living in an apartment and you've got the money, you've been waiting, certainly, a lot of people that bought, and you could make an argument back in 2015. Every year, I think you and I, if we've been doing this podcast, say since 2010,
I know.
People could have been saying in 2012, well, God, I wouldn't buy right now. 2013, 14. I'm sure there's people out there, 2016, 17, 18. I wouldn't touch real estate now. It's gone up. In 2020.
One of my good friends from grade school was telling me a story last week, and he built a house, and he built it when interest rates were high, and everybody was telling him he was a fool. And he said, but it was really easy to find contractors. And he's an electrician. He's with the public utility district. He's retired now, but he told me, he says he had designed it with an architect, and he got he formed his own LLC, his own construction company, and he hired all the contractors. He did the electrical work, and he went to the bank and he got the construction loan. And then when it was done, he was able to refinance it, lower it down a little bit. Then a year later, he went into the bank, and this was before the internet, before clicking on there and saying, Pat, what's your rate? He walked into the local bank and said, hey, I would like to refinance. What is your rate? And they said, well, we can lower yours for 2%. And he goes, how much? They go, $2,000. He says, okay. So he pays them $2,000. He goes home and goes, honey, we just lowered our rate. And then he goes back in again, and like a year later, and he wants to refinance it again. And they said, well, that's $2,000. So he says, well, I'm going to go check another bank. So he just drives across town, goes to another bank. And they said, oh, no, we're only, this amount of dollars. So he goes back and says, they can do it at half your cost. And she goes, I'll be right back. She comes back. She goes, we can do it for $18. So he shaved off another 2%. And this is when when interest rates are really high. Then he got a second mortgage, and they wanted to come out and appraise the place. And at the time he got second mortgage to build something else, he'd already paid off the house. And he goes, why do you need to, he was remodeling his kitchen. He goes, why do you need to appraise it? He goes, I have like 80% equity.
Yeah.
But my point in that whole long story was he built his house when everybody was telling him he was an idiot. Now he's living on several acres with incredible mountain views, a big shop. He doesn't have a mortgage on either the shop or the house. And it's one of my favorite places to visit when I get up there. So I wish I was Ted sometimes.
Well, and the thing of it is, I mean, we're not telling everybody to go out and buy a house. I mean, we're just trying to give people information as far as if you're looking, trying to give you, the market where we're at right now. We're certainly in a lot better position than we were in August, September, October of 23. You just have to look at it and say, it's not for everybody. I'll be the first to admit it. It's not, there's a lot of people that should be renting, but if you are, like that one young nurse said, she said, I wanted to buy it because I could, the timing was perfect. And she was like, I couldn't wait any longer. She said on the podcast, she said, yeah, I wanted to buy in 2020, but everybody talked me out of it. But she goes, now it's 2025, and I wish I would have bought in 2020. And she even said, probably in 2030, there'll probably be people say, I wish I would have bought in 2025. You never know.
So you can't. I mean, rear view mirrors are great, but
they're wonderful.
I saw a news article today, a news story on the guy that's evidently in charge of the state or or the city, Phoenix, with talking about new construction and rentals. And he said, of all the rentals that are being built, they have a 95% occupancy rate as soon as they're completed.
Really?
And he said that will loosen up in 2026, but based on our economic forecast, we feel that you're going to only see slight relief in rental prices. He said, I hate to say that, but he says we're still not catching up. Now, I find that hard to believe driving around the suburbs here. You know, you just drive down the road in Gilbert and go, holy cow. And then, I mean, it's just huge. And they're luxury, you know?
Yeah, they're all luxury. Yeah.
They're all luxury.
I think they're all luxury so they can charge $2,500 or more a month.
Yeah.
It would be nice to have them build, something, the only one in affordable apartment in Gilbert versus knock out the word luxury. It seems that when they add the word luxury, they add another $1,000 to the rental per month.
Yeah. So, yeah. Luxury has backsplash.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. But,
well, Pat, it was fun.
We'll see what happens next week. I think,
we may log on again next week, see what's going on.
Because I think there will be, my gut says we're going to see some movement a little bit. It's been very benign, and it just feels as though something's got to move off the peg one day or another. And I think we're getting closer to the information that people are just waiting for tariffs, waiting for the Fed. So, and I'm watching the 10-year Treasury. So,
yeah. Hey, can I share some personal news with the audience here, Pat?
Go right ahead. Yeah.
Great doctor's appointment yesterday. All indications are all the cancer is gone.
That's awesome. So we're going to be on for another year or two, hopefully, or
we're going to be on longer than that, my friend. It was
okay. Good.
Tough winter, tough spring. Plowed through it and went over the MRI results yesterday and the PSA. If you're over 50, get your PSA checked, or I'm going to show up at your house and beat you with a stick.
Yeah.
And because that saved me, and so it's all gone. So all the numbers are right in the right direction. And so it's been a kind of a nerve-wracking month while I waited for those results to come in. And so I was just driving home, just all happy and giddy yesterday. Even when I got smacked into it, the car wash, like, what the hell, So it was good. It's good to finally get some good news. So other than that, I've bored you with that a lot. Thank you, Maddie.
That's good. Great news. I just saw this email that it looks like this one LO from our company, just a side note, talking about a builder allowing, it says, good afternoon. This is from Meritage Homes. Hope all is well. Please see below all the available homes that can sell by appointment. We have some great interest rates available. Keeping the loan outside, ? We will give the 3% to the outside lender. Interesting.
Well, you'll have to dig into that one.
Yeah, I just saw this.
They're trying all kinds of things. It's going to be interesting to see because doesn't their year-end books end on October 31st?
Yeah, I think a lot of them do.
So September, new builds, they're going to be giving you all kinds of shiny new toys and good rates. Maybe. All depends on where the market is. So, all right. Well, good to see everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Pat, have a fabulous weekend.
Yep, you too, buddy. Thanks, everybody.
See ya.